I'm going to jump inside a loan file. And as we saw up front, the informational cards across the top tell me what I need to know right up front. How am I on compliance, on fraud? I can see I have a disclosure event due here because the system noted that I have a change of circumstance required. So I'm going to see the red box here instead of the green. The details of the loan are also in the center here. And as we saw also, I can also see a full summary of the loan file. But again, to have a little bit more space to work, I can close that out and open it only if I need to view that. The progress items are where all the detail is behind each one of these modules. So when we look at credit, for instance, I can see that it's been completed. Now, how that got completed depends on the workflow. We can work on a queue base, which is where the credit report's received, it automatically gets queued up for someone who knows how to review and sign off on credit reports. Or I can be like an older fashioned processor where I'm inside the loan file on a loan centric basis, but I still have the same intuitive workflow here that says, okay, credit review, here is your how-to. This is exactly how we review credit reports. I've got my what I need to do, I've got my what I need to look at right here, all in one space, as well as any credit related documents, also all in one space. So I can open up the credit report if I need to, pull it off my other monitor. One thing also you'll note with all of our documents is that it picks up the date of the document, assigns the default validity period, which calculates the expiration date for you. The system's going to now monitor this against the closing date. So if you go move that closing date out, it will note that you're going to have an expired credit report if you go ahead and do that. The other thing you're going to see is these are dynamically generated, the nodes on the left-hand side. So if there were no public records, I wouldn't have a public records node. So we don't teach people to skip over stuff. We also standardize this review and we provide training for folks so they can easily go through and review the credit reports. Now, the borrower, this is directly off the IRLA. He says he did not have any judgments. Well, unfortunately for him, the credit report picked some up. So I can see the public records here. Now, we can have this dynamically generate an activity to the borrower, which we saw in the borrower portal, for an explanation and improved payoff of that judgment. Or I can manually ask for it here. And when I ask for a request, it's automatically going to pull up just the right requests that are applicable to credit reports. So I'm going to say explain the judgment. It's going to pull up the default language. I may or may not be able to modify this. And then I can send that request right out to the borrower and it's going to show up in their portal from there. Now, depending on who I am, I might just be able to mark this as ready for underwriting. I might just be able to mark it as reviewed. I happen to be able to complete this activity, which is then going to complete the progress item for credit. And that's what turned that to a green check. Now, if there were any outstanding activities or documents that needed to be reviewed, I would not be able to complete that because, again, we don't want to teach people to skip over stuff. We want to make sure that that review is going to be complete. And this is true for each one of the progress items. You can see all the details on the front screen of each one of these. So here's income. This is all the income for all of the borrowers and the status of those. So I've got stated income here, which is why I do not have that progress item as complete. It's showing as red.